Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the United Arab Emirates for round 7 of the 2023 GPVWC Academy Series here in Dubai at the Dubai Autodrome. My name is Edward Hunter. Alongside me is not Joshua Birch. He's commentating on some NASCAR at the moment. So with me instead is the no less capable substitution of Menno Klont, of course, who's going to capably fill in as my co-commentator, which is great news for me because it means I've got somebody to bounce off of, apart, of course, from all the lovely viewers in the chat, I'm sure, who are eager to see our Academy field, our first rung on the GPVWC ladder, of course, looking to prove themselves, looking to impress, looking to get a slot in FS2, FS1, Super Lights and Super League, of course.
Yeah, well, yeah, thanks for the introduction. I'm actually now watching half of the qualifying laps the guys now put in. But thanks for the intro. So, yeah,
no worries.
Yeah, we're currently watching the sector times of all the drivers, and we've got some fast sector times already. We also saw a few fast laps in the practice session. So let's give you some of the sector time because I believe we're very close.
Yeah, we're just looking at Oliver Taras going through the middle sector at the moment. I believe there's some interesting banked corners here at Dubai. It's not a circuit that I see raced at too often. In fact, the one I know it the best from is, bizarrely, there was a mobile game I think called Real Racing 3 that had loads of races at Dubai because it was one of the few that they started off with having the license to. So I guess there's one thing that EA has on this track, but it's in R Factor 2 as well. Oliver Taras, we're looking at the moment, did lead at the end of the practice session that finished just before qualifying started. And I believe he has the third fastest time. Yeah, here we go, 152.823 behind Alessandro Maggio, of course, our man that's really making waves, not just here in Academy, but also in FS2. And Yasser Lattinen, who had a very, very messy pair of races, to be honest, last time out in Academy in Austria, but has shown exceptional pace and has certainly been a match for Alessandro Maggio in qualifying. And can Oliver Taras become a match too? I'm not familiar too much with Oliver Taras, so I guess we'll have to see how he goes. As Yasser Lattinen sets a 48.148 in the first sector, which is immediately smashed by both Taras and Maggio then.
Yeah, I think it's good to see that it already looks to be pretty close for this qualifying session, and of course Mr. Maggio is the class of the field. At least he was the
Magic Man Maggio, as I call him.
Yeah, the last two events he was quite amazing. But yeah, it does seem that he's got fierce competition for this round, and I think that's very good to see. So we're now at the Dubai Autodrome, which I believe a lot of single-seater drivers in real life actually already went to this track, because it also hosts, I believe, Middle East Championships in the winter.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, for I believe the regional Alpine Championship and I believe an F4 Championship. So a lot of drivers who have a bit of money and can afford it, they are driving here, and I think this is a perfect track for that. But it's still a quite difficult track. When we now look at the lap times, which are now posted, and yes, it's Oliver.
Yeah, Joshua Dexter has gone second fastest from Oliver Taras, 0.231, so it's 0.2 behind then. And he set the purple middle sector. Maggio fastest in the first sector, but Taras fastest in the final sector, as we cut to Maggio then in the middle of his second flying lap. This is a really interesting corner here, this one that he's just gone through there, which I believe is the turn 6-7. It's like this really long kind of right-hander where you're never quite sure where the apex is, because it's sort of after turn 5 you're just constantly turning right, aren't you? And it's one way it's really easy to misjudge in terms of where you're braking. There's another really interesting corner in that respect, which is turn 15 near the end of the lap, which is the penultimate corner essentially, and it's got this really odd banking. We saw it earlier. I'll show it again when Maggio comes up to it. He's just coming through, I believe, into 11 and 12 now, I think, at the moment on the back end of the circuit. Yeah, here we go into 12. And yeah, trying to make sure he goes wide as he can on the curb on exit before rejoining the racing line. And there we go, purple middle sector again then for Maggio as he attempts to get on song with Joshua Dexter and Oliver Tarras. Here we go, this is 15. It's sort of uphill and constantly banked. It is a very awkward one. You sort of always not quite sure how much speed I can carry into that one when I'm driving this track. It always feels like the corner's going to spit me out. And there we go, getting a wide entry so he can apex at exactly where he wants to into the final corner and goes well wide. So Maggio completely throwing away that lap as Latinen now goes second fastest.
I think that's what it is. You saw he was working it so hard on the wheel. It looked that it gave him a lot of initial understeer. You saw him turning, even overturning the car rotation. But yeah, he couldn't manage to at least get a better lap up. He's got still quite a bit of time. Well, we now have got 19 drivers who now set a time, and a few are still busy with setting a time.
Yeah, and interestingly, a little bit behind the top four, dueling away for that pole position, all pretty close to each other. Oliver Tarras has been the only one to get a lap in the sort of 52, low 52s essentially, 152s rather. Ondrej Nigrin in the 5th place in his dark blue car has set a very good lap to get ahead of Mark McNaughton, who we know is very quick from some of the, especially the races where he's been able to make up positions from starting from the pit lane. And Jaroslav Hadjek, who of course was second last time out, but had that brilliant duel with Mike Bell and Maggio near the very end. And here is Hadjek now in his bright green Academy car, going through what looks like the... yeah, this looks like a... downhill part of the section. So he's just coming into... out of 9 and onto the long straight approaching turn 10. So it's so important really to carry as much speed as you can, because down that long straight you're going to just be gaining or losing time all the way down it. And then here we go, interesting line into 10 there as we cut to Tom Parker in his darker green Academy car. And Tom Parker is where is he in the order? I'm trying to find out. There he is, 8th place of course. So he's set a personal best second sector. So here we go. Can Tom Parker break potentially into the top 5, top 6 or so? Let's see as he crosses the line. It sets a purple final sector, actually, according to the timing screen there. 29.10. Yeah, he was 0.055 behind Hadjek then on his best run there. 53.6. So Hadjek holding on to that top 7 then, as we look at Leo Smith down in 17th. Leo Smith, who in Austria had a gratuitous promotion to the front row when I was in front of him in race 1. He was in 16th or so, and the 2 cars in front of him both ran into each other, so he ended up getting up to 14th, starting on the front row for race 2. And then I think Leo Smith really struggled to hold on to that. Was it? Yeah, it was definitely Leo Smith. Louis Smith, sorry. I'm thinking of not Leo Smith. I don't know where Leo Smith has come from. There's a Leo Smith and a Louis Smith, sorry.
We've got a lot of
confusing. Louis Smith in the yellow car, Leo Smith in the pink car.
Yeah, so that is kind of confusing. Well, we see more and more drivers actually setting a lap time.
Purple first sector for Maggio, and that was 2 tenths faster then. And you saw he got a great run out of turn 9 onto this long straight, coming up to turn 10. Apex is nice and early over the inside curb, and then sips us up for the little chicane here as he goes onto the back end of the circuit then. Into 12 we go then. And there we go. It's almost like a roller coaster ride for a lot of these corners, especially the banked ones. And we're going to approach 15 quite soon. Here we go through 13 and 14, which are flat out, of course. As we go into the final 5 minutes of the session, and Maggio needs to nail this lap. Needs to get his braking point exactly right, get back on the power as early as he can without drifting out too wide. And he gets himself set up for 16, not too far over the banking, right in the middle where it's mostly level on the apex. And then this is where we went wrong before, Menno, into the final corner. Can Maggio nail it this time? Yeah, he's learned from his mistake then. Yeah. So across the line we come. What time is this going to be for Alessandro Maggio? It's provisional pole, and only just ahead of Oliver Tarras as well.
And to suggest
52.329.
I would suggest that he only goes half a tenth nearly 3/4 of a tenth faster. That does mean Terrace's time is pretty sharp already. And I think...
Yeah, Lattinen gains another tenth then on the pair of them.
Oh, look
He's 2
at Dexter.
tenths down now on Oliver Terrace.
Yeah, Dexter also improves, but still 3.5 tenths. But it is pretty close, and I think that's what you need. You need to have drivers who are, well, they're close. Within 5 tenths, I think then still all to fight for in a race, because...
Terrace takes back the top spot by 0.02 of a second over Maggio. Wasn't purple in either of the 2 sectors, but set personal bests in Sector 1 and Sector 3 there. So, and Bradley Sellers, interestingly, also sets the fastest final sector. So the final sector, really, if you look at the track map with 4 minutes left to go, that is pretty much everything from just before turn 12 to the start-finish line just after the final corner, turn 17. So that is basically 2 braking zones, essentially. So it's really how much you can hold on through 15, 16, and 17, which are the tricky parts there, in my opinion. Whereas Sector 2 is mainly how much speed you can carry out of turn 9, and then Sector 1 is a sort of more of the snake section, essentially, which is a little bit more technical. As we look at Nigren still holding on to that 5th position, and the guys who tend to finish in around about the top 5, top 10 in Academy tend to be the big threats for race 2. If they can gain ground quickly before the likes of Maggio and Taras can close in on them, then they can be a big threat for the win. So, as Nigren really drifted in, you saw he just locked the rear brakes there, I think, into turn 17.
Yeah, and he knows he can't...
He's still got 3 minutes. He can maybe get 2 more laps in.
That's why they...
best, I think.
Yeah, that's why they abandoned it quite soon, so that they got more time to do changes and go out again. But I did...
Yeah, and fresh tyres, of course.
Yeah.
Ooh, Parker goes into the top 6 then. So Tom Parker sets a 153.194 to get ahead of Mark McNaughton.
Yeah, if you don't have pole position pace, I think the aim for everybody should be to be within that second. Only, I believe now, 7 drivers are within that second. That shows also how fast the current pole time is. But yeah, I think some are eyeing to get within that magical second.
And look at Hadjer getting sideways into 15, and that is when you're carrying a little bit too much speed on the banking. You've got to shave it off somehow, and that's how Hadjer has had to do it there. He's dropped down to top 10 with, ironically, right next to Bell, who he just missed out.
He should be having a big improvement. I think he will be within that second. I think he jumps to...
top 5. There we go. So, well, going sideways at 15, he didn't lose that much time then. So, but still, half a second then off pole, but definitely much better position than he was a few seconds ago. As we cut back to Leo Smith in his pink car, taking a very, very wide line into turn, is that 12 or 10? It's a bit hard to tell the 2 apart. I think that was 12. So Leo Smith not going to be improving there. Dexter improving though. And keep your eyes as well on Maggio. He may have a last-ditch attempt to try and snatch pole back off of Oliver Taras. Joshua Dexter sits at 48.150 in Sector 1 there. As he tries to carry as much speed as he can then through the sort of middle sector here.
Yeah, but
so
I wonder.
this is
I wonder about
that was just through 11 then.
Yeah, I wonder how it is without with track limit, because of course we saw him going wide already 2 times the last few corners. So I'm not sure if the time will get allowed, but yeah, he is still.
And look at that entry speed into 15.
Yeah.
The rear is crying enough, I think, on Joshua Dexter's car there. But let's see, can they hang on for one final corner then? Into 17 we go.
Let's see where he goes to.
And yeah, it hasn't shown us the Sector 2 split. Maggio set a 35.0 in Sector 2.
It didn't count. The lap of Dexter didn't count.
That would be why then the lap got invalidated. But Maggio going very quickly in the middle sector here. Needs to hook up this lap then. So let's see, through the final corner comes Alessandro Maggio. 30 seconds to go, so he will get one more run if he's got the fuel to do so. Yeah. Just about stays within the track limits, crosses the line and snatches that pole position by 2 tenths there. Impressive lap from Maggio, the Magic Man.
Yeah, I think
can Taras respond? He's done excellently to bring the fight to him so far, Menno.
Yeah, I think Maggio and Taras are now throwing even more fuel out. Then we've got the track with developing to get more grippy. So the fastest times we'll get now, and I believe Taras is really fast in the first sector, but I believe not as
so the
fast
time
as
run out
Matteo.
then. I think. So I think Latinen will be first across the line. Last to complete will be the man in 13th, which is Yanis Luati. So a lot of new names to get to grips with as we cut to Taras then, who sets a very, very quick first sector there, slightly quicker than Maggio's best efforts. All very wide on exit there through, that looked like turn 12 now. Now through 13 and 14.
Yeah, I think he's searching for that. He knows he needs to get even faster, so he's trying to play with just staying within track limits, but being very close so that he can, take as much exit speed without getting the lap invalidated. Let's see where he gets up to. Can he beat Maggio?
Oh, very early turn in to that final corner then, but getting on the power then, and it's just a run to the line. McNaughton goes top 5. Karlova Taras, snatch pole position. No, the final sector was a 10th down. So that is almost certainly going to decide then our fight for pole position as we look at Latinen going through, approaching that final sector then, and Yasse Latinen on his final lap then. I think as we see, Luati sets a 154.138 to go 14th. But I have a feeling Latinen, who does set a personal best sector 2, he might be able to get a little bit closer to Taras, but he's still 2 tenths away. So I have a feeling the grid is pretty much settled then. As we see, is that Brody Lawless getting into the top 10 there on his final effort? It's a great effort there from Brody Lawless. I think made a joke that he was going to try and steal Alessandro Maggio's setup in the week leading up to the race. Yes, Latin, and towards the line now. It's not going to be enough, but it is an improvement, 52.429. So that puts him a 10th then behind Oliver Taras. So all of the top 4, I think, putting on a great show, and even McNaughton with that late improvement. All the top 5 impressing me there, Menno.
Well, yeah, I think even more than the top 5 is impressing me. But it's Alessandro Maggio who's getting pole position again. But I think it was quite interesting session because I didn't have doubts, but you saw it was not sure. Oliver really was hunting for that pole position, and our winner of the last race, Maggio, just did the lap, but it does show he has some competition, so that's very good to see. So you got
not just winner of the last race, winner in FS2 as well, albeit a reverse grid FS2 race, and he was also on the podium in a non-reverse grid race in FS2 as well in Saudi Arabia last time out. But there we go. Oliver Taras then falls 2 tenths short to Maggio, but as you say, Menno, we doubted for a second. Taras put up a good fight, and now there's still the race to come, of course. Latinen is going to line up 3rd on the grid with Joshua Dexter in 4th, Mark McNaughton 5th, Jaroslav Hajek rounding out the top 6 from Ondrej Nigrin. So great to see a new face in Nigrin in the top 6. It is Tom Parker who will line up 7th on the grid from Iliko Busink. Brody Lawless 9th, I believe, or is Brody 10th, and the timing screen's messed up, I think, because there's 2 second places on here.
I think that it already messed up, so I hope to give you...
there we go. Bradley Sillers rounding out the top 10 then. Mike Bell will line up 11th, winner last time out in race 2 in Austria. Jonas Karula will start 12th. Marek Petras qualifies 13th from Yanis Uarti. Domenico Scarpelli, a newcomer, he's going to line up 15th with Dylan McKenna just behind him. Lana Sibinor returns in 17th ahead of Morten Vernesen.
Morten Vernesen, he's a very, very well-known person in GPV from, I think, a blast from the past. And he's back, so that's good to see.
Yeah, very well known to you guys, but new to me, so great to see him qualifying in 18th. Just ahead then of Lucas Afexentiu. I think I pronounced that correctly. Afexentiu. Got to get used to that one. Leo Smith lines up 20th, just ahead of Louis Smith. I'm assuming the 2 Smiths are not related, but Leo Smith in the pink car, Louis Smith in the yellow car. So it is very good of them to pick distinctly different colours there to tell them apart. Cole McMillan qualifies 22nd, just ahead of Caroline Harvick, always ever present on the grid. Great to see Caroline carrying on and continuing to improve. Not quite able to set times right at the end, so probably starting from the pit lane, I would wager. Eric Lijon and Fahid Ahmed, of course, who we've seen take part before. Fahid Ahmed and a pretty promising driver, but a lot of connection issues, unfortunately, have sidelined him somewhat in the races so far. But great to see Ahmed back trying again. Maybe he's got a new router out. But again, another driver I expect to see starting from the pit lane and hopefully getting involved in the action, because there's a lot of action to get involved here on this 17 corners, this 5.3 kilometer circuit here at Dubai.
That's very true. So if you look at the qualifying, where did the new drivers actually go to? Did we already see Taras before in this series? I don't think so, right? Or did we see him?
I'm pretty sure Taras is a new entry.
Yeah, that's what
if he has been qualifying before, he's been pretty quiet about it.
Yeah, and I believe
or he
also,
said it before I start commentating.
Yeah, I will also believe Joshua Dexter has done one of his season's best, because I believe I didn't see him up this high before. Of course, he did drive in rounds before this, but yeah, I think it shows that he does well. Andre Nigrin, I think he is new as well.
He definitely is, and it was great, like I said at the time, great late lap by Mark McNaughton to qualify into the top 5 as well, because he's someone who has had a lot of bad luck in that orange Academy car, but he's always been very quick, always put on some great overtakes. He was really unlucky to sort of have to go into the pits, I think, 3 times in race 1 in Austria, but race 2 he was involved in the sort of 4-5 wide sort of scraps in the sort of, there was this huge battle for 10th position. I think McNaughton ended up 11th or 10th at the end of the race, so certainly putting on some moves and really able to nose his way around other cars. It's just qualifying well and staying there, which tends to be the big issue for McNaughton. So McNaughton, I think the start is going to be all about staying out of trouble. He's got a lot of quick guys around him that are going to give him a lot of hassling, and of course new guys like Nigrin, Busink qualifying in the top 8 as well is going to be quite a threat as well. These guys who of course maybe haven't done very many Academy races before, it's going to be learning how to handle things on the sort of fairly cold brakes and tyres into turn 1, because especially if you start near the front, you've got to wait a long time for the others at the back to line up before the lights go out and the grid gets released.
Yeah, that is very true. So I'm really wondering what happened with all those new drivers. How did they prepare? Of course, fast lap is one thing, but a race is a whole of different thing. So let's see how that goes. So yeah, quite a few new entries. So I will wonder how that will go. How they are going towards the more experienced drivers on this grid. Of course, we've got a few drivers who already got opportunities in the higher series in GPVWC. So that's always good to see. We saw Alessandro Maggio already driving in the Formula Sprint 2 and Formula Sprint 1 in Jeddah. That was last week. And I believe we had Jesse Latinen there as well. So that was...
And Bradley Sellers, of course, teammate to
also
Adria in FS2 at the moment.
Yeah, Bradley Sellers as well. Then I believe we had
Mike there in the warm-up.
Yeah, we had Mike Bell in the I believe Formula Sprint 1 for I believe Team Ablab. So you see a lot of drivers who are competing in this race or Academy Series race will have chances in one of the career ladder series. I also do believe that Jaroslav Hajek already inked at least one more race deal for tomorrow in the Super Lights at Jeddah, so we will see him in a much faster car. Jaroslav made his debut in Baku for the Super Lights team of TTF, and I believe he will drive this car tomorrow again. So I think now he will be even more prepared with that car in Jeddah. So it will be interesting to see what he can do in this. Also what he can do in this race, because now he needs to he has now 2 series where he needs to focus on in GPV. So it's interesting to see how that goes. But I think Jaroslav seems to be more than capable enough to do a good job tonight, and I think tomorrow as well.
Yeah, he did a very good job in both races in Austria, did Jaroslav Hacek, actually. Although, saying that, there was a bit of controversy because there was somebody that he hit, I think it was Jeffrey Ellis, that he hit in both races. There was collision in race 1, which I think Jeffrey admitted was kind of his fault, just sort of got the braking wrong and went straight into him at turn 1, and they both sort of ended up spinning. Jeffrey Ellis did a big 360 degrees in the runoff at turn 1. And then in race 2, they were fighting for second right behind Mike Bell, and Hacek was the one who got it wrong into turn 1 on that occasion and ended up spinning Jeffrey Ellis around, which was a big disappointment for him, because I think Jeffrey Ellis said, I wish I'd gotten around Mike Bell sooner, because if I had, I could have easily won that reverse grid race. In the end, he ended up finishing, I think, 7th or something like that in pretty much both races, but that aside, Hacek put on a fabulous show, and that him going side by side and ahead actually of Mike Bell on that final lap before Mike Bell just slipstreamed through at turn 4 in Austria and was able to just squeeze him at the apex and go around the outside of him in a sort of brilliant move. Although, having said that, Mike Bell, there was certainly a sense that he did everything to try and lose that reverse grid race and somehow ended up winning it, because he felt like he was under attack pretty much all the way through and constantly making mistakes at the final corner, giving people a run on him. But I expect starting at 11th, a few more heroics from Mike Bell to maybe gain a few places, because he got spun around in race 1 in Austria. And there was a big crash between McNaughton and a few others. Mike Bell got caught up in it, fell to about 18th, and then climbed to, I think, 8th by the finish. So certainly, if you sort of keep plugging away at it, there's a lot of drama and action that can happen in a very short period of time ahead of you, and plenty of not just opportunities to gain places, but if you can do that, then opportunities to get promoted to FS2, FS1, and other championships as well, like you say, Menno.
Yeah, I think that's for a lot of drivers that's the aim, and luckily I think it happens a lot. So yeah, we've got the from a Sprint 2 Academy team, of course, for that, who promotes drivers in. So I know that, what was it, Bradley Sellas had the last 3 rounds he had the seat. So that will automatically mean that we'll not have the Academy FS2 seat for the Nürburgring round. So let's see who we will see for that. Also, Mr. Maggio got the other seat, and I believe he will be in high demand of getting in any FS1 or FS2 team, because he's the guy that has the potential to get big points in whatever series he does. So that is important for a team. In both series we got some very ambitious team managers, and they know if something doesn't go right, or there is a driver that can make it anymore, can't drive anymore, then you want to have the best replacement. And I think that's when they start to look here, especially if they see drivers who are capable of doing or have got the potential for that, the great results.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there. What usually happens is you see Oliver Tarras just going up the inside of the pink Academy car of, I believe that's Leo Smith, I think. Or is it Brody Lawless? It's one of the two. But anyway, the colours, by the way, don't ascertain to any team. It's literally just picked by the drivers, as we see Tarras again getting a little slipstream from, I think that's Brody Lawless, who just makes a bit of contact with as the checkered flag is finally out in the warm-up session. But it often tends to be that availability is the main factor. It tends to be that a driver ends up driving somewhere else or gets a job in the evenings and can't go to the races anymore, and so that tends to be why you need a replacement. I find it's very rare that someone's just not delivering or they're giving such bad performances. It tends to be the drivers are pretty honest about their own performances, to the point that if they're doing badly, they say, right, I might be better in a different category, or I need a break or something like that. It doesn't tend to be the team manager that sacks them. That's a bit more of an exception rather than the rule. But anyway, I guess we're gonna get going pretty soon then, Menno. How many laps ahead of us here at the Dubai Autodrome circuit? 31 degrees air temperature, 54 degrees track temperature. No sign of rain because it's Dubai in the middle of the Middle East, so it would be unlikely.
Well, yeah, well, we saw stranger things, but this series will, I believe, will never have rain because of it's the Academy series, so it gives a stable option for
But even less likelihood than regular.
Yeah, yeah. I can tell you, even if Dubai was flooded by like, well, I wanted to say a tsunami, then it still would not rain here. So no, this series people need to be able to develop the skills. You could argue whether the skills is also skill, but yeah, in all the series, the rain will be we'll have a chance on rain, but now for today it will not be there. At least that's what I remember. From the rules, I'm pretty sure it's still there. So we'll have 12 race laps plus a warm-up lap. So decent chance for everyone to move up positions. Unless you're the poleman, then you cannot move up position. You can only hold your position. But I expect a close race.
Yeah, I think Taras certainly, if he can keep him the slipstream on the first couple of laps, could well pose a massive, massive threat in the back of Alessandro and Maggio. And of course, the big thing is that they need to be to avoid running into each other, because that could open the door to the likes of Yasser Latin and Joshua Dexter, of course. But like you say, 12 laps here. It's just under 2-minute lap here. With a nice mix of corners here in terms of you got a couple of high-speed corners in the first sector, and then the more hairpins in sectors 2 and 3 that sort of end the lap. And you, of course, you've got those uphill banked corners like 15, like turn 9, that you've really got to carry exactly the right line onto in order to get a good run on someone. As we see the grid just forming up in the background with Maggio at the head of it. So I believe I'm about to take you through all 26 cars then, and it looks like they are all going to start on the grid. Nobody is going for the pit lane, at least not yet. Fingers crossed. But anyway, here we go then. So, Alessandro Maggio making his way off the grid, and Oliver Taras taking a while to catch up to him. It looks like Maggio's gone for it already. Here you go then. So it is Maggio on pole position from Oliver Taras, Yasser Latin in third, Joshua Dexter fourth, Mark McNaughton fifth, Jaroslav Hadjic sixth. And I've just raced through there because I panicked and saw that the graphic was a bit early. So there you go. Maggio, Taras, Latin, Dexter, McNaughton 5th, Jaroslav Hadjic 6th, Ondrej Nigrin will start 7th, with Tom Parker 8th, Ileko Busink will start 9th, and the top 10 will be rounded out by Brody Lawless in his pink machine. Then it is Bradley Sullers who will start 11th ahead of our race 2 winner from the last 2 races, Mike Bell, starting in the top 12 ahead of Yunus Karula. Then it is Marek Petras, stalwart of this series, just ahead of Yanis Luati, a newcomer. Top 16 will be Domenico Scarpelli in his first appearance, along with Dylan McKenna, another newcomer. In 17th, Lano Sibinor will start 18th, ahead of Morten Verneson, of course, is well-known, well-loved here. Lucas Afengstu will start 20th, ahead of Leo Smith. Then it is Louis Smith. To be confused, the two, Leo and Louis. Leo pink, Louis yellow. Just a key reminder. Cole McMillan will start 23rd, with Caroline Harvick 24th, Frederick Lejon 25th, and Fahid Ahmed rounding out our 26 cars here in Academy today in Dubai.
Yeah, another question for you. Which of the 26 names is the most difficult to pronounce?
Probably Lucas thanks to you.
Yeah.
To the surprise of no one.
Yeah. So yeah, also we've got, what's his name? That's Eelco Bussink. That's actually a very Dutch name, so I can say it. So I think it's Eelco Bussink. So
I'll
yeah.
take your word for that, Menno.
Yeah, otherwise
it's trailing on the
not
screen. Joshua Dexter, by the way, who did qualify 4th, is in the pit lane. So it's not showing him on track at the moment, which is slightly concerning.
Yeah. That is true. So we will have a driver less on the grid, but he will be in the in the pits.
Yeah, should be in the green car.
Yeah.
I think Norton in 4th now, essentially. There we go. There is Josh.
Yeah,
it's
and
confirmation.
then raise the question.
Late.
Yeah, what did go wrong here? but also is this maybe a huge chance for Joshua, because if he can get up to speed, he can still get a very good position for race 2 starts. But we look into that later because we're close to start. I already hear the lights going on.
3, 4, 5. Enemy race 1 gets going here in Dubai, and Karula immediately gets a penalty for a jump start, but Maggio slots in then on the run into turn 1 in front of Oliver Taras, and Joshua Dexter starting from the pit lane. There he is, just being overtaken then, but it looks like Jesse Lattinen is going to try and go around the outside of Oliver Taras into turn 1, and Taras cuts him off. McNaughton slotting in behind in 4th then, and now it's getting very busy behind. Brody Hajek, Parker, Nigrin, Sellers, and Lawless that all squabble over 5th to 8th, and up the inside goes the teal Academy car. That looks like a Mike Bell, actually, who's gotten up into the top 10 from 12th. It's going to be, he's going to dive bomb from the inside then, from the red car, and a car on the outside that's also red, and Mike Bell is spun around, and there's a 180 there as a Hajek then defends position then in the top 8. But it is Maggio leading Taras, Lattinen, Parker. Tom Parker somehow got into top 4 ahead of Mark McNaughton. Then it is Hajek, Nigrin, Lawless, Sellers, and Busink, your top 10 then. But look at the lead Maggio has already, and Taras already starting to worry about Lattinen behind then, rather than anything attacking ahead of him, as up the inside goes Brody Lawless on Nigrin. So Nigrin getting caught out there on the first lap into the hairpin.
Parker goes to 4, and I believe we've got a spinner.
A spin, and that's McNaughton losing it and being collected by the red car. Is that Busink that's hit him?
You've got more crashes.
Oh, what an absolute catastrophe. And that's front wings falling all over Dubai here, then Menno. But McNaughton, that's absolute disaster for him. He lost it on his own, and another orange car getting a little bit of airtime briefly there.
Lewis Smith is lost
in both senses of the word.
I believe.
But there we go. Taras then holding up. But look, Parker is under attack from Hajek in 4th, Menno.
Yeah, well, I'm actually not sure what to watch. Well, I see Joshua Dexter going off. Yeah, it all kicks off now. But
so
yeah,
two
Mark
retirements then, Luati and McNaughton.
Yeah, was a big hit.
Luati was in the green car that went straight into McNaughton there. So sorry about that, Menno. I think I might be talking over you a bit. But it looks like McMillan also dropping down the order as well. And
I'm totally not surprised that Tom Parker is in P4. I think we shouldn't forget Tom Parker has got a load of experience on Air Factor 2. He knows exactly how to do this, so I think if you ask him to...
And look at this, Brody Lawless has got up to 5th, Menno.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, but Hajek is now trying to attack Lawless for that 5th position. But Brody Lawless, starting in the 10th, has weaved his way through the chaos, got into the top 5, and now next in his sights is Tom Parker, who we were just talking about. There's Scarpelli, started 15th, now up to 11th, and challenging Marek Petras just ahead of him. Gets a beautiful run onto the main straight. Just behind, by the way, is Vernison and McKenna. McKenna, very quick. Oh, what's that, Menno?
We had a spinner called McMillan and Louise Smith, and so he.
And up the inside goes Scarpelli then. So Petras powerless to keep Domenico Scarpelli up. There is Brody Lawless now, well and truly under attack from Jaroslav Hajek. Hajek has got the inside as they approach what must be turn 10. Or turn 12, sorry.
I think Hajek is the faster one because he was behind. He's now overtaken, so I think he's got more pace. But of course, Brody wants to re-attack now, so he will try. But he's got on the outside, and Hajek lost it. Oh, he nearly lost it. But
and that's really brave from Lawless to hang it out there. But to his credit, Jaroslav Hajek leaves plenty of room. And Nick Grin just behind is licking his lips here because he's hoping these two just keep fighting so he can get involved as well as we go into 10 laps remaining then. So on to lap 3. But very, very close here in this battle for 5th then. But meanwhile, Taras sets the fastest lap of the race, but he's 1.7 behind Maggio, who's really made hay here. And Taras needs to do that because he's got Lattinen about 7/10 behind him. He was fastest in the middle sector last time around. Then is 1.8 to Tom Parker. So there we go. Hajek up the inside again on Brody Lawless. Go towards the first sector then. So Lawless going to have to fight back once more. I think this is going to run and run, Menno. Here we go into turns. This must be 5 and 6, is it? Yeah, here we go. 5, 6, 7.
But he needs to
Lawless
attack.
not quite able to get through.
Yeah, if Lawless will not do a move in the next couple of corners, I think Jaroslav will be able to walk away with
And
this.
Niggerin went very, very wide on the entry into turn 9 there. As look, here we go. So this is Hadjek trying to break the toe of Lawless because he's creating a massive hole in the air down this straight that Lawless could use to get close enough to dive up the inside into turn 10. And in fact, he's going to go for it anyway. And he tags Jaroslav Hadjek around, and Hadjek takes off the front wing and then even hits somebody else as he rejoins. So I think that was Petras he may have hit there.
Yeah, and I believe it was also Wernerson. So Jaroslav
And
Hadjek.
Scarpelli, actually, I think Scarpelli drops behind. Thanks to you. And now Hadjek missing his front wing is going to be easy prey for us. Thanks to you.
Yeah. Let's see if Jaroslav actually goes into the pits. He needs to normally. So let's see what he does. We've got another.
Oh, and here comes Mike Bell. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Bell and Wernerson. But Wernerson is overtaken then. And now McKenna and Sellers are getting in on this 10th place battle as well. Here we go. This looks like a... Oh, and that's into the pits then. It goes...
Yeah.
It's a Hadjek. And I believe Scarpelli might be coming in too.
Yeah.
Nope, looks like Scarpelli is staying out then.
Scarpelli, I think he's still got... Yeah, he doesn't have a front or rear wing loss, so he can still continue.
Oh, looks so much action here. But here's Dylan McKenna. Got a great view of Sellers and Wernerson squabbling away in front of him. No space here. These first couple of corners, it's really hard to go around the outside of someone because it's just a constant radius right-hander where you really need to have the inside. And again here into 5, 6, 7. And this is where you really need to focus on your exit here as you approach turns 8 and 9. Into 8 we go. And Dylan McKenna starting to lose a little bit of touch with Bradley Sellers in front of him as Bell and Petras squabbling away on the exit turn 9. You saw them just ahead, and that looks like Petras going off track there and slotting in behind Mike Bell, but he will get the run as they approach turn 10. And Mike Bell isn't that far behind Boosink as well either. But here we go. Petras is going to try and counterattack. He's got the inside then into turn 10. Bell will have to break late and sweep in from the outside as... Oh, that's somebody missing the front wing. That's Boosink.
Elko. Yeah, so Boosink is... did lose his front wing. That does mean he needs to pit as well. And remember that P15 is the reverse grid number for race 2. It's a fixed number as far as I'm aware, so that P15 is important. And look at who's now P16. It's Joshua Dexter starting from the pits. And we know,
Indeed,
we know in qualifying he already had quite a bit of pace. So maybe starting from the pits was for this race not the best thing to do. But yeah, maybe he can move up and then a chance of a good result in race 2.
Oh, fastest lap for Latinen. He's got the inside for Terrace into turn 1. And can Terrace hold on around the outside here? I think it's going to be difficult. Latinen goes into the inside line, and of course it is going to switch back just a little bit. Again, another right-hander incoming, and Latinen side by side then right over the curb as they go into 3, 4, and now 5. But somehow Oliver Terrace was able to just keep his foot in, and Latinen decided to back out and try again, live to fight another day.
Yeah.
So excellent racing there between those two, Menno.
I also noticed the car of Maggio, when we were looking at the last in battle, the car of Maggio didn't look particularly great over the curves. It was very
158.5 last time around for Maggio. That's a very slow lap, 6 seconds off the pace. Yeah. So he must have gone wide and made a mistake potentially at the last corner like we saw in qualifying. So Latinen and Terrace know if either of them can get close enough, they could win this race 1, and that'd be a big deal here. Maggio with a massive target on his back now.
Yeah, also 3 tenths slower in sector 1 again.
Oh, and wide again.
I'm not sure what this is.
But
maybe
here comes Mike Bell fighting away with Sibinor, and Sibinor said before this race he was looking forward to a fight with Mike Bell, and boy has he got one. But Mike Bell on the XS got the inside there and for turn 11, and through he goes then into that top 7 position. Sibinor is going to be stranded around the outside into turn 12, tries to get the cutback underneath, but he doesn't quite get the exit that he needs. Mike Bell, a canny old fox, knows exactly what he's doing and where to place that car. So Sibinor, is he going to try and dive up the inside into 15 here, Menno, or is he going to wait for the start-finish stroke?
He will wait. But wait.
Oh, but Bradley Sellers doesn't want him to wait, and Mike Bell goes very, very wide through 15, but gets a beautiful exit, and that's how you can use the banking to your advantage, effectively, to slow yourself up as Taras finds Latinen, moving him down the straight and overtaking before they get to the braking zone in turn 1. So I think Taras got wide out of the final corner. Oh, and here comes Bradley Sellers then.
Yes.
Oh, Sellers through on Sibinor.
Can he go to...
followed Mike Bell through there. Joshua Dexter up to 12th now, actually, or 13th now. Verneson has just slipstreamed back ahead as we see someone coming out of the pits in the orange car as the rest of the field's coming through. Lejon, I think, yes.
Yeah, it's Frederick.
Lejon a lap down.
Yeah. I'm calling to call him Frederick.
Lejon
rejoins. Yeah, rejoin.
Or rejoins.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's now a lap car. Yeah. So he actually looks very good in his mirrors.
Yes, that means he has to get out of the way of absolutely everybody, which is really going to be slightly difficult. As up the inside, that's Brody Lawless being overtaken by Bradley Sellers. And so Lawless, after that brilliant start, has really been on the defensive and struggling. But here we go. He's got the run on Bradley Sellers. Can he sweep all the way around the outside then? The American Brody Lawless touches wheels once, twice, thrice. Can he make it 4 times before they get into the braking zone? No. He's stranded on the outside, cuts back to the inside. And now he's got Bradley Sellers, who's surely going to disappear up the road and start fighting with Mike Bell. And Brody Lawless has got Sibinor now for company. As here we go. Battle for the lead then. Jesse Lahtinen. And it's been a little bit of a joke in chat as we see Maggio go very wide on exit of 15. That everyone's sort of saying, I believe in Jesse Lattinen's supremacy, because he's always had the pace, but something's always gone wrong in these academy races for him. That's dropped him through the order. But this could be the opportunity then. He's cleared Taras. Can he clear Maggio? Maggio is going to drive the widest academy car you've ever seen in your entire life here. He does not want to give up a win.
Yeah,
series.
The thing is with Jesse here is that in races in the past.
Look how defensive Maggio is getting into turn 1 as well. Sorry.
Yeah. For Jesse it didn't go well in some of the races in the past, but the past doesn't matter now. It's only the present, and the here and now is what he can do. And he looks pretty racy, and actually Oliver Terras he's not close as I expected he would be. So yes, Latinen is the one that actually is the challenger, and he wants to have that win. He wants to put himself on the list, and a race 1 win would of course be amazing. And he's got the slipstream here, but Maggio will of course defend a big slipstream. Maggio
trying to break the toe, going to the middle of the road. And goes to the outside then. Latinen breaks late into turn 10, and surely these two are going to make contact, and they just avoid it.
Yeah, this is kind of smart, because Maggio put himself on the wrong side, on the left side, but the first corner was to the right, so Latinen has actually had a bit of luck, but the next corner was to the left, and actually Maggio did that positioning quite perfectly, but yeah, he isn't the fastest at the moment. Latinen seems to be having a bit more pace than Maggio, so it's very interesting.
It could, of course, be Maggio saving tyres for later on, but I wonder if he's still struggling to learn this circuit and making a few mistakes here. Petras, meanwhile, has dropped down to 12th, so there's been an incident for him as well, but he's carried on just behind Dexter, of course, who now goes up to 11th from the very back of the pit lane, of course, not just the back of the grid, but even further than that. But Latinen then tucks back into the slipstream. Taras a little bit far back. 5 laps to go then. So Taras, he is hoping these two collide and come to grief with one another. But Latinen determined not to mess up at this late stage. And Maggio once again pulls apexes very early into turn 1 to make sure that Latinen can't dive up the inside. But this compromises his exit all the way through 3, 4, 5, and 6 then. And so he needs to just get back on the throttle and break the toe once more. It's really into turn 10 really that he's going to have to get defensive once more for the next 4 laps essentially. And all bad exit for Maggio then as he goes wide on the curb. But Latinen, where can he go here? Because he's a little bit too close, wants to be a bit further back and then come up the inside. Here we go.
He's in front, but now it's a drag race.
Latinen takes the lead.
Yeah, he takes the lead.
But Maggio is going to slot right in. Was this a tactical maneuver? I think he genuinely just went too wide on the banking there. But he has carried a little bit more speed, tucks to the outside, but he will find his line to the inside, blocked by the green car. Latinen breaks as late as he dares as Maggio.
Yeah, but he
tries to hold it around the outside. That is superb from Alessandro
And look at
Maggio there.
Taras!
And
Look at Taras!
Taras now getting involved, but he's going to be stranded on the outside, so he cuts to the inside as soon as possible. Landon thinking similarly, trying to outfox Maggio. This has turned very, very tactical all of a sudden, hasn't it, Menno?
This is this is a very interesting game of chess, because Latinen and Maggio, of course, are looking towards each other, but Taras can just focus a bit on himself.
Oh. Early on the power there for Yasse Latinen, and nearly Taras nearly got a face full of that rear wing there.
Yeah.
But luckily, it was able to avoid in time without losing too much time or positions.
Yeah, what I expect Taras should do, and what I think he will do, once he sees Latinen and Maggio go side by side into a corner, he tries to adapt his driving, so brake a bit earlier and take a lot of exit speed out of the corner, so that he can, show a bit, that he's there as well. Taras can still win this. He seems to be pretty decent now. Of course, he caught up a bit. He lost like half a second before. Now he caught up because of the fighting. But it can be any of those three here, and actually, I think
this is reminding me of your commentary from race 2 in Imola, Menno, where you said the same thing about, and Bobby. Then the two leaders crashed, and Bobby Bakanov went into the lead, and Latinen again diving up the inside into turn 8 as Maggio having to again sort of just hold the inside line, doesn't go wide on this occasion. So Latinen's going to get a massive tow here as they approach turn 10, and Maggio goes as far to the inside as he can, and Taras doing likewise, then trying to, who does he slipstream off really, as Latinen is going to be side by side but on the outside, can't go all the way around, the long way around through turn 10. Approaching 11 they come, and this is where Taras sort of had to sneak up the inside earlier because the two were just holding each other up on exit. No such joy for Oliver Taras on this occasion, but Latinen sort of has got to pick which side he's going to attack as they all wheel spin on exit of turn 12 there. McKenna now past Brody Lawless crashing out of the race, I think, or potentially being disconnected, and Latinen looking very close as they go into turn 15, but Maggio breaks as late as he dares and somehow is able to cut in back in front then. Just another 3 laps to go then before we know the winner of this first race here in Dubai, as Dexter and McKenna do battle, and Taras goes wide on the exit of 16, and that could well make him lose touch with the two leaders here, Menno.
Yeah, that's the thing, because Oliver is now too far back to actually strike when those other two are going to be wheel to wheel. So he needs to get back. A driver who also gets
and
closer and
pushing
closer.
very hard there.
Yeah,
going all over the curb on the outside of turn 2. But he's got a little bit of a run on the inside here through 3, 4, and 5. And this is Sellers and Bell squabbling over 6th position. Nigrin has sort of checked out in front of these two. And then it's Joshua Dexter not far behind them either. So Dexter from the very back could well get past Sellers and Bell into the top 6. But here is Latinen then, the similarly liveried red and green cars. Red means stop, green means go, guys. And go, thinks Yasse Latinen as he goes on that beautiful run into turn 10, right into the slipstream, but a little bit further back than he was on the previous couple of laps, Menno. Here we go into turn 10, though.
Yeah, and this takes longer and longer, and of course, Yasse still has got a chance, but...
Yeah, Taras has caught back up now because Latinen hasn't quite been able to get on song, and we got lap traffic ahead then.
I think that is...
I'm not sure who that is.
Frederick Lejon.
It's Lejon again, I think.
Yeah.
Or potentially has Brody Lawless got going again. I think he might still be retired here. But here we go then. Latinen, he had a good run into turn 15 the previous lap, and Maggio has got that in his mind. Is he going to cut to the inside before they get to the corner? No, because he thinks he'll just swoop around the outside of me if I do that. I've just got to focus on my exit here. And Latinen does well to hold on to the rear of his car there. It's so easy to lose because it's such a low speed thing. You sort of want to get on the throttle as early as possible through that sort of banked corner. And it's so easy to spin out as we see Sellers all over the back of Mike Bell. And he's going to try and go for the inside. Over the curb they go. The sparks fly. But Mike Bell, once again in defensive mode, and Bradley Sellers cannot find a way through past. And these two Englishmen are going to just keep fighting to the end of this one, I think, then, Menno. And that's Dexter, who's still just about 2 seconds behind them. And I think his chances of getting through are starting to fade ever so slightly. But we got the three leaders within a second as they run up front then with just a short few laps to go. But Sellers has got a beautiful run into turn 1.
Yeah, and the magical 15th position.
Oh, Taras through on Lattinen. Sorry, Menno.
Caroline.
Taras up to second then, as Bradley Sellers up the inside of Mike Bell. Bell going really wide there. And now, so Taras taking advantage of a mistake there from Lattinen into, I think, the first corner, or potentially just slipstreaming him. And that could well allow Maggio to pull away ever so slightly. Parker, by the way, has done well to keep all 3 of them within 3 seconds. I think that's a pretty tidy drive. A bit quiet, not quite getting involved, but Lattinen now looking for the inside. He's got the slipstream again as they go into turn 10. And can Taras hold on round the outside here? He's going to be squeezed out. And there we go. Blackman then using the slipstream to his advantage. But the more these two fight, the better it is for Maggio, I have to say, Menno.
Yeah, so it's Caroline Harvick now on that magical P15 with Jaroslav Hajek hunting that position for now in P16, but I think that will be too late.
Yeah, Hajek was 2 seconds faster the previous lap, but he is 7 seconds down on Harvick. It's going to be nip and tuck. Harvick just needs to make sure he keeps it on the road, doesn't he, Caroline? But
yeah.
As we see McKenna getting past Petras and Joshua Dexter hitting trouble then, falling back down to 10th position, which is a big shame for him. He was getting quite close to Bell and Sellers. I wonder if maybe he's hit the back of Bell. But hard to say, as we see Taras starting the final lap behind Lattinen and Maggio. So Taras had an attempt to get through. It didn't quite work out for him, did it? And Maggio now has just started to control things. It's been a tense race, hasn't it? But Maggio hasn't really put a foot wrong and hasn't been headed. Lattinen briefly getting through, I think, in turn 10. That was literally the only time, I think, in the last couple of race ones that Maggio's been headed here in Academy.
Yeah. Well, I do believe Jaroslav Hajek is getting closer and closer to
4 seconds, just under 4 seconds now.
Yeah. But it will be a very big hurry up to the line for Caroline Harvick. But it's only 1 lap to go, so we shall see if she can make it.
Oh, it's a she, sorry, Caroline Harvick. I've been calling Caroline a he.
Sorry, Caroline. Yeah, I'm actually not sure, actually, but yeah.
We'll go for day to hedge our bets.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Okay, sorry, Caroline.
Thanks.
But Caroline has been doing all the Academy races so far this season. This Magic gets a bit wide on the curb on the exit of 10, and that could allow a late attack from Latin. And then as we go into the final sector of the final lap, then
will this be an all or nothing again?
Oh, look at Maggio. P2 would be great.
No, but
he would so dearly love P1. Here we go.
He does smell victory. Yasser will go for it. I'm pretty sure he will go for it.
He's going to be on the outside here. He's going to have to brake late, but Maggio brakes later into turn 15 and covers off the inside then on exit then. So Latin, it's going to have to be a dive at the final corner. I don't think he's quite close enough, not with that exit then. I think Maggio, he's only just got to hold on the lapped car ahead. It will be no distraction whatsoever unless it spins in front of them, which it does. And now Maggio is going to have Latin right behind him as he crosses the line, but it's too late. Alessandro Maggio wins race 1 here in Dubai to make it, I think, 5 race 1s in a row, if I'm not mistaken then, Menno. But Latin takes his best result in Academy with second.
It's Scarpelli against Martin Wernerson, and Scarpelli
here they are.
11.
And is that Sibinor in this as well? And Wernerson just been cut off, and is Sibinor going to come up the inside of Morten Wernerson into the final corner of the race? They touch, they all come together. Wernerson and Sibinor spin, and Sibinor recovers first. And Wernerson does a massive pirouette there on the inside and looks very disgruntled there. That was him being knocked out of a P12 there.
And Hajek is very close to Harvick. Hajek is very close to Harvick.
7 tenths the gap. And Caroline Harvick has only got to hold on for 1 more corner, but Hajek is right there.
He's got a
and
bit
too far back. Here we go then. Harvick, is she going to hold on to that final spot? And that is 15th. That is not just a point, but reverse grid for race 2, going the way of Caroline Harvick. And how much will that mean to Caroline Harvick, who has competed in every race so far, who I think best finishes 17th or 16th maybe so far? That is a big achievement there.
That was very close for reverse grid pole position.
Yeah, but Hajek lost it early. Oh, it's Busink, who's had a bit of dramas today, just giving his little drift in the final corner as he comes in to finish in 19th. Oh, wow, big scare then for Harvick. They certainly didn't make it easy for themselves, did they?
Yeah.
So the P15's theirs. So a reminder of the final results then. Here is confirmation. Alessandro Maggio, he won race 1 in Imola. He won race 1 in Australia. He won race 1 in Malaysia, in Sepang, and then again in Austria. And now he's done it in Dubai. So that is 5 in a row then, just making sure. Jesse Latinen takes his best result and say pushed Alessandro Maggio all the way. So all the Jesse Latinen fans in the chat are going to be over the moon with that one. I am 100% certain. Oliver Taras on his first appearance takes third, also involved in that battle. That was an absolutely spectacular race 1 as far as race 1s go. Maggio certainly didn't just run off into the distance like some may have been expecting, Menno. Tom Parker takes 4th, a very creditable 4th, only about 3 seconds down. Then is Andrzej Nigrin. We didn't talk much about Nigrin, but top 5, he qualified 5th, fell down a few places, but then recovered them fairly quickly and brilliantly held on to that 5th position. So Nigrin has got a good baseline to build from. Could be a threat in race 2, remember. Bradley Sellers, he finishes 6th ahead of Mike Bell after those two put on another great duel for us. Dylan McKenna finishes in the top 8, which is about where he qualified, so Dylan McKenna will be happy with that. Marek Petras recovers to the 9th. Drew Dexter, starting from the pit line, despite that late spin, dropping him out the top 6, does finish in the top 10, so he'll be not too displeased with that. Puts him near the front for race 2. Domenico Scarpelli climbs from 15th to 11th. Lenor Sibinor, despite that late attack from Verneson company, he will finish 12th, Verneson 13th, and then Efengstio will come home in 14th. Then it is Harvig, rounds out the point scorers. Hajek 16th, Karula 17th, McMillan 18th, Busink 19th, Louis Smith 20th, our first DNF. Joining him, of course, Fahid Ahmed, who I think got going again, but only did 11 laps. Brody Lawless, Frederick Lejon, Leo Smith, Yanis Luati, and Mark McNaughton with that early spin crashing out. So that is your field from race 1 then. Sorry, Menno, to interrupt.
Yes, as well. I think it was a very interesting race 1 with a very good battle. And let's see what race 2 brings, because that's a bit of a reverse grid. So the slower drivers should be a bit in front. So let's see how the racing will be then. But I believe we will have a break very soon.
Yep.
So
back on the other side of that break for race 2 in Dubai. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.
Get something more to drink.
Hello and welcome back to Dubai then, after race 1 of round 7 of the GPVWC 2023 Academy Series completed then. Familiar winner, Menno Klont joining me, Edward Hunter, alongside me in the commentary box. Familiar winner then, in the form of Alessandro Maggio. However, he had to fight for it the whole way in race 1 with Yassi Latinen and... it was, of course, the race just happened, and the name has escaped me. But I think because I was literally just looking for him in the server as Oliver Taras, of course.
Yes.
For some reason, it's showing him 21st in the server, which is why I couldn't immediately find him. But he definitely finished third, and a very close third as well. After him and Latinen having swapped positions a few times, Latinen, what a difference 2 weeks makes for him after having a pretty miserable time in Austria, spinning, making mistakes. From second, this time qualified second again, but stayed out of trouble. and really fought for the win and showed exactly what he was capable of. But we're going to have to see a lot more troubles again for those top three in race 2, because it's Harvig that will start on pole position. Joshua Dexter dropping at the end of race 1, by the way, 6th to 10th. I wonder if he genuinely spun, or he thought, oh, these guys are going to be a nightmare to pass in race 2. Let me just make it a bit easier for myself.
Yeah.
Without completely dropping out of the top 15.
You never know. So we shall see what race 2 will bring us. Should I do the starting grid this time, Ed?
Oh, if you'd love to, Menno. That'd be really
Yeah, well, I want to practice on my pronunciation, so yeah, just type in the chat when I say a name wrong. So yeah, you will always see a lot of spamming, a lot of spamming. But let's see. We wait for all drivers to line up. I believe we've got around 10 seconds for everybody to join. Still 24 drivers on the grid. So that's a very healthy grid here in Dubai at the Dubai Autodrome, and we are now starting the warm-up lap for the second race of the evening and the final race of the evening. You know, we'll see the starting. It's Caroline Harvig in pole position with Lucas Axventiu in P2, Morten Wennison in P3, and Labors Binor in P4. Then we've got Domenico Scarpelli in P5 with Joshua Dexter in P6. Marek Petras is in P7 with Dylan McKenna in P8. Mike Bell, for his attempt to win another race 2, will need to do that from P9 with Bradley Sellers in P10, Andre Nigrin in P11 and Tom Parker in P12. Oliver Taras in P13, Jesse Latinen in P14 and Alessandro Maggio in P15 with Jaroslav Hajek in P16. Then from 17 to 20 is Jonas Corrara, Cole McMillan, Eelco Bussink and Luis Smith. And then 21st position is Brody Larveless. Frederick Lejean is in P22. P23 is for Leo Smith and P24, and the final position is for Yanis Luati. So that's all the 24 drivers on the grid for race 2. So very interesting. Who will finish where? Ed, do you want to do a prediction? Who will win this? Yes.
That's a big one.
Who are you giving the commentator's curse? That's the question.
Ooh, I did sort of mention, didn't I, Dexter doing the strategy of starting P6 despite he looked like he was going to finish P6, finishing P10 after the spin and starting P6. So I think Joshua Dexter might be, in terms of the guys with the pace up front, it's between him and Mike Bell. I think it could be 3 in a row for Mike Bell. I think Dexter just might hit trouble again. I think watch out though for the likes of Afzentiu, Vernison and Sibinor slipstreaming Harvig on this first lap. The big thing for Caroline Harvig is, can she get a top 10, top 12 here? I think that would be
Joshua
sort of
Dexter
best result.
Off the he disconnected.
Oh, has it happened again?
It happened again. Oh, it's a shame.
And this time he might not even start from the pit lane. Well, cursed him already then.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just Mike Bell.
My bet is still Alessandro Maggio. Would be stupid to bet against him, but let's see what Latinen and Taras can do as well, and Parker. Let's see. Well, we've got the lights now. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and who's got the best start? There we go. Oh,
Harvig doesn't get away. Harvig completely missed the start there, and she's got the top 4 swamping her completely.
And it's the man from Cyprus who's leading. The man from Cyprus, Lucas Axventiu, is leading.
But Sibinor is going to go up the inside of him. Here we go into turn 1 then, Menno. And it is Axventiu that holds it from Sibinor, but we're going 3 wide a bit further back.
And there's a bit of story about behind that. Lucas did upgrade his rig, and he said, now I can fight, now I can race, and he now is leading this race. So whatever happens, he can already be a bit proud. But now
it wasn't for much longer, because he goes very wide there, and Sibinor takes the lead. Then Scarpelli, by the way, is up to 3rd ahead of Nick Grinn, who's made quite a few places. Harvig is still holding up to 5th.
Yeah,
Parker, and who's that spinning?
The guy with the best start so far of all the guys, that is Tom Parker. Tom Parker is already in P6. That sly old fox can do it again, and a lot of drivers.
And here's where they start slipstreaming each other, Menno, down the straight here. By the way, Taras had an awful first couple of corners as we see Parker trying to make another place there. Taras is down in 23rd and last.
Yes, Taras with a bad start. Jaroslav Hayek with an amazing start. Here it is in P10.
Oh, collision there. And that's the bright blue car spinning. That looked like Marek Petrast coming into trouble there. I think that might have been Brody Lawless he made contact with there.
Yeah.
Shame there into turn 11. There just wasn't quite enough space. Meanwhile, the order up front, Sibinor, Avsentiu, Nigrin is up to third over Scarpelli, but Scarpelli fights back as they go into turn
Parker
15.
lost his front wing and more crashes.
Oh no! And there's somebody facing the wrong way there. Mike Bell has somehow got up to fourth in all of that. But wow, Harvick somehow survives the chaos into 13th. Maggio up to seventh then, and it's absolute chaos. We've got cars left, right, and center at turn 15, Menno.
Yeah, there was a big crash. Let's see who's involved. It's Nigrin who's involved. It's
Parker
again,
in the pits then to change wing. So Mike Bell up to third already then, 2.4 seconds behind Avsentiu. And there's Sibinor in the lead. So Sibinor has been able to run away with this so far. He was going to lap 2.
And look who's in P4. It's Bradley Salas, and he smells the victory as well. But look who's in P6, Alessandro Maggio. If you would ask me half a lap before, I would have said Tom Parker has had a very good chance to win this. But now it's Maggio who actually survives, and now he can be challenging for the good positions.
There we go. So I have a feeling Avsentiu is going to...
Latino
and Maggio up the inside now of Verneson into the top 5. Who spun there, sorry? Latinen. Oh, yeah, say Latinen is in trouble as well in his bright green car. And Leo Smith, I think, is coming in to retire as well. So we've got a Nigrin has hit trouble. Smith has hit trouble. Hajek, I think, is out as well. So there are 3 retirements so far. But Maggio now up to the top 4 while I was looking away, past Verneson and McKenna. And Scarpelli too. Scarpelli getting slipstreamed by everybody as Bradley Sellers goes very wide, right behind Mike Bell now. So Avsentiu has hit trouble. That's what's happened here. I think Avsentiu may have been disconnected then, Menno.
No, he's
oh, no,
still
no.
there.
It's, what's happened to our leader then, of Sibinor?
I'm not sure what
I don't
happened.
see Sibinor anywhere. I think Sibinor may have been disconnected.
I'm actually not seeing
So that is
him.
horrible luck if so.
Let me see.
There he is, 10th position. He's lost his front wing. So Sibinor was leading out front, had it all sewn up, and has completely dropped it on his own, unless there was a lapped car that came out the pits or something. But that is absolute heartbreak then for Sibinor. And he has to sweep across into the pit lane, and he doesn't make it to the pit lane, and he nearly hits Karula there.
Yeah.
As Avsentiu leading now sets the fastest lap of the race, but he is only half a second now ahead of Mike Bell, who's got Bradley Sellers right behind, who has then got Maggio right behind. So we've got a 4-way fight for the lead then, Menno. As here comes Sibinor under attack then from... That's 11th place Busink. Yeah, and Sibinor with no front wing has got no chance really into first corner. As you see, Bradley Sellers has that Mike Bell ahead of him, and then Avsentiu. So this is the top 3 fighting for the lead. Mike Bell going for the lead on Avsentiu into turn 6 then, and Maggio drifts into view just behind. They go 3 wide into turn 8 then. Can Sellers go around the outside of both of them? Avsentiu holds his nerve. Brilliant stuff.
3 wide again.
Green car. And Maggio. Here we go. We're going to go 4 wide down the straight here, Menno.
No, look at Maggio. Oh no, Maggio.
Maggio slipstreams past Avsentiu and past Bradley Sellers as well. But here we go. It's Maggio and Bell then fighting for the lead. Can Maggio go around the outside of Bell at turn 3? And Bell defends and pushes Maggio off track a little bit. And now here comes Bradley Sellers just to give a little bit of trouble, but not quite able to give any... not going to get alongside Maggio then on the exit through turn 11, but giving his level best. Avsentiu being sort of shuffled out in quick succession there, annoyingly for him. But Sellers has made up 7 positions, Maggio has made up 13, and Bell now is really under attack here. Maggio dives really late into turn 15, and does Bell turn in across him? Yes, he does. And they go side by side through the exit there, but Maggio not able to come through around the outside. Bell really just in the places Maggio doesn't want him to be, and backs the pack right up together again. Behind, meanwhile, Verneson holding off McKenna and Scarpelli for that 5th position. As look how wide Absentiu is going then. So poor Lucas, he's dropped from the lead and he's struggling to keep up with the top 3. Such is their pace. But Mike Bell, not quite as fast as Alessandro Maggio, who again gets a better run into turn 1. Will he sweep round the outside? How late will Bell go?
Mike Bell
He's
does
gonna push Maggio all the way wide.
Yeah, Mike Bell just things Mike Bell can do. We sometimes say the Mike Bell train is there. Well, it's a big tuk-tuk for Mike Bell because he can place his car exactly.
Oh, and around the outside of Maggio. That's brave, but surely he's going to have to go the long way around here, and it's a more circuitous route. It's longer. Maggio just cuts up the inside and retakes that 2nd position, Menno.
Yeah, well, I see our pole sitter Colin Harvick going wide. It's now P10.
Oh, great run here from Maggio, and surely he's going to get the run. He's alongside. He won't be able to take advantage of the slipstream here, but Mike Bell just really got a slow run out of turn 9 as we see the train of cars, Verneson, Scarpelli, McKenna, all just trailing one another. Will Maggio be able to do the ring of death on this occasion? No. Once again, Mike Bell forces him off track a little bit, but Maggio keeps his foot in, has the inside into turn 11. Oh, nearly loses it though, but he's almost through, and will Bradley Sellers be able to go around the outside of both of them, 3 wide into turn 12?
Look at that.
And once again, Mike Bell somehow holds on.
And, you know,
is Bell working with Bradley here?
Well, I think
they're good friends, Mike and Bradley.
I think they are driving smart because, you know, if Maggio is gone, then if he passes, he will be gone, and you need binoculars to see where he is in a few laps. So they actually do very well. But yeah, the great driving from Mike Bell. He uses all his experience in sim racing with this, and his car placement is pretty amazing, and it needs Maggio needs to adapt to that, and he tries.
Here comes Sellers. He's right on the gearbox of Alessandro Maggio now. Sorry, Menno, as they go into turn 1. Is Bradley Sellers going to dive out at the last moment, or will he just stick in behind by this time? No, it's Maggio that dives for the inside. There we go, completely wrong at that, but that compromises his exit and allows Bradley Sellers to get involved here. So you've got to think, if Maggio didn't have this annoying Bradley Sellers all over the back of him, he could just attack Mike Bell wherever he wanted, couldn't he? And not worry about being overtaken.
So Maggio cannot go off his line to, go for a different line to overtake Mike, because if he goes offline, then you've got Sellers, so he needs to play it very well. Well, in number 4 is still Lucas, who's looking into, a good position.
So Tom Parker's had a pretty awful start to the race. Has just set fastest lap down in 17th position, 6 seconds behind Cole McMillan. And now Maggio goes to the inside, almost gets pushed into the wall there by Mike Bell, but thankfully the track widens up, and this time Maggio's got the inside. Mike Bell bails out. Will now try to break really late around the outside, barge into the side of Maggio, and that was risky and a half there from Mike Bell, and somehow holds on to the lead there. And Bradley Sellers thinking, this is insane. How can I avoid the chaos here? And Mike Bell again having to defend the inside, and once again puts Maggio off. And Maggio thinking, I am just being squeezed here. How can I escape this torment? It's like a press, isn't it? A mechanical press. As soon as he tries to get by Mike Bell,
he wants to get the inside here.
Here we go. He times it to the inside. Once again, Mike Bell just has to turn across, and he spins Maggio out at turn 15, and Mike Bell could get in trouble for that one.
Let's see what happened, because I think Maggio has got quite a bit of overspeed, but now he is in P3, but he is not out of it. We're not even halfway. But Mike Bell is fighting like a pit bull to win 3 out of 3. He's in the form of his life. It's not only car placement, it's in general he's driving like really decent, but he will be fighting for it. He is a guy that, like, okay, if you want to win, if you want to pass me, okay, but you need to fight for it. And yeah, he's doing a very good job.
But also doing a very good job is Verneson, holding off Dylan McKenna and Domenico Scarpelli, who've both been really quick. And we saw him to Verneson at the end of race 1. And up the inside, look, Scarpelli on Dylan McKenna then. Such is the cork in the bottle here that Verneson is serving as. And is McKenna going to go up the inside then at turn 8? Needs to make sure he doesn't barge into the side of Morten Verneson. And Verneson is given more than enough room there. And look at the train of cars he's holding up here. Behind Scarpelli, it's Taras. We saw have an awful first lap, already up to 8th place with Karula behind. Then it's Busink and Latin in 11th. Harvick, our pole sitter, has dropped to 12th. And Brody Lawless has also retired in the recent history, which is a big shame for him. But look at these 4 cars all in a line. This is what's really helping Avcentiu hold on to that 4th position then, isn't it? As wide goes Scarpelli, and that could allow Taras in the dark blue car to dive up the inside at turn 12. But diving is the purple car of McKenna then on Verneson.
Look at Sellers for the lead on Mike Bell, and there's Manju again. Can Sellers pass
here
in?
We go.
Oh, Mike Bell nearly
Looks like
lost
the
it on the
truce is
braking.
off then. Oh, here we go, diving up the inside, and Mike Bell is going to leave just enough space, doesn't spin Bradley Sellers around, but holds him up enough to put him into the range of Alessandro Maggio, and Maggio is surely thinking about slipstreaming him down the main straight here, Menno.
Oh my god, Maggio and Sellers will be like just frustrated they can't pass Mike Bell. They will be lying in bed later this night and still think about how can I pass Mike Bell, because they still can pass him.
But here's the thing, Menno.
Yeah.
You might say, oh, Mike Bell's defending way too hard as Maggio gets all over the curb there. And it's like Taras, McKenna fighting with Verneson. Here they go, the 3 of them together then. And McKenna's going to be on the outside. Taras goes through the middle of both of them, but goes wide. And that is going to allow Verneson to hold up. Brilliant move by Oliver Taras there. And now McKenna tries to follow him through there. But Taras just saw a little gap and absolutely went for it now. And through goes Scarpelli as well, once again attacking McKenna on the inside at turn 6.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Taras is now faster, because he had that overspeed in race 1 as well. So that's actually very good to see.
Oh, here we go. Take 2 for Maggio then on Bradley Sellers then is still behind. They all continued to squabble down the straight, but Maggio looking to retake that P2. He's got the inside and almost just opens the steering up just to make a little bit of contact with Bradley Sellers, remind him that he's still there, but not quite able to get through on this occasion. And the Warriors squirreling, just complaining, such as the heat being put into these tyres then as he's wheel spinning on the exit of some of these corners. And Bradley Sellers, both of the red cars go wide to try and keep up with the teal machine of Mike Bell. And here's the thing about Mike Bell's defending. You might say, oh, it's a bit harsh, but this is sort of what Maggio was doing. Oh, here we go. And Taras now all over the back of Avcentiu. That pace that he's got coming to good use here as Bradley Sellers almost loses it again on the exit turn 15 and into 16. And Maggio will be up on the inside like a ferret down a drain pipe here into turn 17, but has to get the braking sorted out. And there we go. He's got it sorted in the middle of the corner
and
there. And now just has to hold off.
Taras overtook Lucas Avcentiu for P4, so Oliver Sellers can now actually...
Yeah, Taras only 5 seconds behind these guys. He was a lot further behind at the end of the first lap, by the way.
Yeah.
So there's probably not quite enough for Taras to get involved here, but with Mike Bell holding him up, anything's possible.
Depends how hard Mike Bell will defend it now. How much they will lose.
Oh, and that's Karula retiring. Or coming into the pit, sorry. So that's a big shame for him. He was just behind Caroline Harvick. So some damage there, I believe. And look at Maggio. He's learnt from before. He's going take the wide entry into turn 8 to try and get the best line on exit here. Oh, but Mike Bell just completely covers the inside there. And again, wherever Maggio wants to go, that is where Mike Bell will be. just to ensure he can't take the ideal line.
Yeah. And look at Mike Bell. Will be defending, yes, so defending.
There's Mike Bell just going to the middle of the road, and Bradley Sellers thinking, right, well, the pact with Mike Bell is back on then, isn't it? To just get in the way of Maggio and make things interesting.
Oh.
But, look at how much Maggio's pushing here. He's going to try unusual lines then to try and catch Mike Bell out. That's really his only option here, isn't it? But Mike Bell, even if he gets through, Mike Bell's just going to go around the outside, and it looks like Verneson is through on Taras. Taras is in trouble.
Oh, Taras, yeah, he lost a position again. It's strange because I thought he had
Taras
more
making a mistake and getting swallowed by the pack up the inside of him. That's McKenna and Verneson now coming through, but he's going to go round the outside of the purple car of McKenna. And there we go. Oh, and a little spin from Busink then. Ow!
No,
Verneson coming to grief. And that allows Latinen through as well. So Latinen and Taras
but look
are going to fight again.
look who's in P5. It's Eelco Bussink who's now in P5. I believe he started way down the field as well. And now goes for P4. It's Eelco Bussink who tries to overtake the guy from Cyprus.
And this is the lead. Sorry, Maggio into the side of Mike Bell into turn 1 there. Wow. And Mike Bell gets really compromised on exit. Maggio is going to breeze around the outside of him here. Can he go all the way around the outside? This truly is the ring of death, Menno. And Maggio pulls it off, but can Mike Bell dive up the inside into turns 5 and 6 here? And now Bradley Sellers, seeing Maggio get through, think, right, I'm not going to help Mike any through. I want P2. I'm not going to help Mike anymore. Sorry.
It was fun when it lasted, but now Maggio is gone. Look at
he's checked out, well and truly.
Yeah.
But boy, did he have to work for that one. And I think the curse on Mike Bell. I think you've predicted correctly here, Menno. And Mike Bell may not even finish in the top 2 here, because up the inside comes Bradley Sellers. He beat Mike Bell in race 1. He's going to do the repeat here. It's not going to let Maggio escape up the road in front of him. There we go then. So Bradley Sellers, who put up a superb fight, all 3 of them have in this race too. But look behind, here comes McKenna round the outside of Lucas Avcentiu. And Avcentiu is just able to hold the apex, run out a little bit wide. And behind, that's Taras, Vernus, and Petras, and Harvig, I think, all are getting involved here.
Yeah, it's a very cool battle. Oh. Well, it's
Avcentiu, he's looking like the rears are starting to overheat or wear out here. He just doesn't have the grip of those around him. Here comes Dylan McKenna round the outside there, and Avcentiu, but he's towing along Jesse Latinen. Latinen now ahead of Taras, but can Taras dive up the inside? Can McKenna go round the outside of Avcentiu? No, he can't. Through comes Latinen up into the top 6 then.
Yeah.
And now Taras looks like he wants a piece of this as well. So Avcentiu is going to somehow hold on to the top 5 here as Busink continues to check out 3 seconds ahead of them.
Yeah, fast lap.
And Taras going really wide to get the run that he needs.
Look
so
at
these
Sellers.
pairs are going to start switching each other.
Sellers wants this win. Look at Sellers. He's well, I think he will be attacking Maggio, and I thought Maggio would be.
Yes, that's what we're looking at the moment. And Maggio, who got slipstream down the main straight, has suddenly got the other car, the problem car of Bradley Sellers right behind him. So Maggio needs to make sure he's got the gap, or at least covers the inside coming out of turn 9. But meanwhile, this battle for 5th position is raging on with the Avcentiu train chugging along, and now Taras up the inside, and McKenna into turn 6, and McKenna goes off track, which is surely going to allow Taras through around the outside. And now Latinen, who's had so much trouble in this race, is McKenna now going back up the inside of Oliver Taras. But here are the leaders then. Is Bradley Sellers going to dive really late for the lead? Up the inside, he's almost got the line on Maggio, but Maggio just has to hold it around the outside and hold on to that lead, that slender lead. Maggio, this is race 1 again, where Maggio just defending like crazy from someone behind, and Bradley Sellers, who would love a first win of the season. He's come so close on a few occasions. Mike Bell just hoping they both run into each other and he can inherit victory and take his 3rd race 2 win in a row. But Maggio, like you say, he needs the triple here.
But Bradley Sellers, is very dangerous. Why is he dangerous? Because he now, Maggio gives him hope. He is so close on there. Bradley feels there is maybe a chance for a win.
And Avcentiu, sorry by the way, defending that 5th position extremely well to keep Latin and Taras and McKenna behind. Scarpelli, by the way, has dropped down to 15th final points paying position, so his pace has dropped completely. But here are our leaders. Sellers, once again Maggio defending, so Sellers will have to be forced to the outside here and tuck in to compromise Maggio's exit here. So the more defensive Maggio is being, the harder it is to break away, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there we go. McKenna once again swapping positions with Oliver Taras for 7th position, as Latinen continues to be held up then by the widest academy car you've ever seen in the form of Lucas Avcentiu, the Cypriot driver. But Maggio driving pretty widely himself, and Bradley Sellers, when is he going to strike here? Surely he's going to wait till the final lap to slipstream maybe, or do you think he's going to go on this lap, Menno?
I think he might do all or nothing thing move.
Yeah, Maggio goes to the inside, so surely Bradley Sellers has got the sweep to the outside, breaks super late, but can only get alongside. Will that be enough?
No,
he
but
sweeps around the outside. Can Bradley Sellers pull this one off? Oh, he's still going to be side by side, but Maggio will go around the outside, and Mike Bell pushing way too hard to get involved in this one. That is Maggio still with the inside, still holding on. And Bradley Sellers is forced out wide. Oh, contact made. And now Mike Bell is all over the back of him.
Yeah, and this is what Mike Bell needs, because I think Sellers will be going, well, how do you say it, all in. He will be knowing there is a chance.
Oh, and having the back out, and Mike Bell gets caught on the outside of the banking there and loses a lot of time to the two leaders. So a crucial mistake from Mike Bell as we approach the final lap.
Lucas lost 2 positions now in P7, but he's still very close, but I think he just run wide, or the tires are about to give up. Yeah, Lucas drove quite a good race for him.
He can still get a top 7 here. He can keep McKenna behind him. But meanwhile, Maggio has got to keep Bradley Sellers behind. This could be Bradley Sellers' last opportunity on the final lap. Again, Maggio keeps to the inside, forces Sellers to go the long way around, compromises his line into turn 1. But he knows if he can just make sure there's no chinks in the armor, no opportunity for Bradley Sellers to get through, then it is going to be his first race 2 win of the Academy season in 2023. But Bradley Sellers will be pushing like crazy, Menno, to get through.
Yeah, what do they say? Bradley Sellers has been the bridesmaid for a few races, but never been the bride. He wants to have that win under his belt, and he has a good chance for it, but he needs to work for it.
He's coming to the inside very early into turn 9. Yeah. And is this going to be the exit that he needs? Maggio looks vulnerable here, but surely Maggio will keep to the inside.
Yeah, but there's quite a bit of slipstream. Look at that. That car is going, but he needs to go around the outside. But remember, there's a right corner and then a left corner. He's ahead.
The ring of death then for Bradley Sellers. Maggio breaks late. They make contact. And he's going to force him again the long way around. He's not going to be enough alongside. Maggio sweeps round into turn 11 and remains ahead. So that could be the final opportunity then, unless he can do something into turn 15. He's right on the gearbox into turn 12. And here we go then. So just 2 more braking zones to go then.
He's got 1 more shot, but he needs to do it. I think he will go for it. But let's see what Maggio will do in response.
I couldn't dive to the inside there. Maggio just controlled the middle of the road.
Yeah, but look at his exit speed.
Oh, here we go, and Maggio makes a little mistake. Can Bradley Sellers get on the power and dive up the inside into turn 17? 1 corner, 1 chance for Bradley Sellers, and no, it's not quite worked out. Maggio is going to hold on, and it's going to be 3 wins then for Alessandro Maggio in 2 weekends then. Race 2 is his, and McKenna gets through on Avcentio here. But look at this, Bernison and Petras are still behind too, and Petras is going to have to go around the outside of Bernison. Bernison diving up the inside of Avcentio, and McKenna is going to hold on to that 6th position. But it's a drag race between the free to last. Bernison is going to get through on Avcentio, and Petras just misses out. He will finish 9th. But wow, late gain there for Bernison, who drove a very good recovery there to get back into the top 7 then. Through comes Taras. Appointment for him. Is that Taras without a front wing, Menno? No, he's still got it, isn't he?
No, he lost it.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, that explains what happened there. Parker comes home 11th. And let's not forget Harvig, our pole sitter, recovering to her best finish in the top 12. And there is Nigrin, who from the very back was a long way back at one point. Nigrin getting up to the top 13.
Yeah, so I think we need to get our oxygen mask, because this was so amazing that I'm out of breath. What about you, Ed?
Yeah, there was that battle for the lead between the top 3, and then that crazy battle for 5th between like 6 drivers or something like that, I think.
You just saw Maggio had it all in his own control, but some braking zones, that car was really strange in how it behaved. So you were
full marks to Bradley Sellers. Yeah. To giving it his level best, and to Mike Bell. Maybe the cutting across of Maggio will be controversial, as we see. Is that Bell doing a donut there?
Yeah.
I think he's happy with how his race went. But there we go. Confirmation then of our race 2 results then. Maggio, 2 in a row, of course. But that is going to be his, after 5 wins, that's going to be his 6th of his Academy season then. Yeah. Ahead of Bradley Sellers, who once again misses out, but takes, I think, is a joint best result then. because I think he was second in race 1 in Austria as well. Mike Bell takes another podium to add to his collection. So that's but for whom the bell tolls, of course. But he put in such a great fight to hold on to that victory for as long as he did. Busink, we didn't talk much about Iliko Busink, but top 4. That was a very impressive drive there to sort of sneak in almost unnoticed and sort of run away with that 4th position. So he will be very happy with that. Latinen had such a difficult first lap. I think it was like 18th or 17th at the end of the first lap. Climbed up to 5th by the end, just ahead of Dylan McKenna, who takes his best finish. Then it is Morten Wernersen just beats Avzentiu on the line. Both of them super defensive drivers, but Wernersen just got the run off the final corner that he needed. Petras just missing out in 9th. Then it is Oliver Taras missing his front wing on the final lap, but he still finishes in the top 10 after his podium in race 1. Tom Parker, 4th in race 1. Slightly disappointing, 11th in race 2, but still finished just ahead of Caroline Harvig, who I think had a very clean race, actually, all things considered, to finish in the top 12. Her best finish, ahead of Ondrej Nigrin. Cole McMillan, 14th. Louis Smith takes the final point in 15th. That's his second top 15 finish of the season. Ahead of Domenico Scarpelli, Frederick Lejon, Jonas Karula, and then our retirements, Brody Lewis, Yanis Luati, Lanor Sibinor. What could have been for him after he had such a big lead on the first 2 laps, didn't he, Menno, and lost the front wing. We didn't see quite how that happened. I think he just must have gone long into one of those corners or hit something or other. Or could have just been very, very unlucky on the curbs there and got a bug that took that front wing away and took that chance to win away. Hajek also retired, along with Leo Smith, who is 23rd and last in the order.
Yeah.
So shall we move into the interviews then, Menno?
Yes,
and I have a feeling the happiest man is going to be Alessandro Maggio. So shall we talk to him first then?
Yeah, I give it all to you with the interviews. So,
right, let's hope my nose can survive. So, I've dragged him in, but I'm not sure if Discord is registering it. Nope. Okay.
Oh, hello.
Well, this isn't ideal. There we go. Right. Okay, so I believe we're now joined. Sorry to interrupt for suddenly dragging in unannounced Alessandro. We're joined by the winner of not just race 1, but race 2 as well. After superb defensive and attacking drives, Maggio, the Magic Man, doubles up. Alessandro, I know you were disappointed with a little bit last time I spoke to you, but I told you were going to dominate, and dominate you did. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I guess this time went a little bit better than all the other ones. So, yeah.
Should we talk us through race 1 at first? So it was a freeway fight in race 1, not what you're used to, of course. You're used to just running off into the distance, but we had Latinen and, of course, Oliver right behind, wasn't it? Oliver Taras, who ran you very close in qualifying, by the way, as well. And then the two of them, Latinen briefly got ahead on the outside at one point, but otherwise you were just doing the Mike Bell, as it were, constantly defending the inside. And Latinen just couldn't get the run that he needed down the straight, slipstreaming you. So really, that was an absolutely inch-perfect drive in race 1.
Well, yeah, thank you. Thing is, in qualifying, as you said, we were really close because, I had focused a little bit more on getting practice for FS1 and FS2, so I wasn't really up to pace yet, but yeah, at the end I pulled all that together because when Oliver got in front of me by 2,000, I think it was, I just went full sicko mode and sent it in all the corners, and yeah, it worked in the end. And yeah, I mean, race 1 and race 2 as well were fun, so yeah.
Yes, race 2 certainly the more dramatic one, let's say. So a rapid rise from 15th on the grid, carnage ahead, but you slotted through, got into the top 3, and then the rest of the race was pretty much decided by a battle between yourself, Bradley Sellers, and Mike Bell. So once Bradley was dispensed of, Mike Bell, some interesting defensive maneuvers from Mike Bell. We'll hear his side of the story later, but there was an incident at turn 15. Mike Bell turned across from the outside. You were spun around, and then you had to fight your way back through both Bradley and Mike after that.
Well, we were in VC while that happened, so everything was good.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We were having a lot of laughs. We were having, a really, really good time through both of the races. So, yeah, we didn't even think about it. I just said, Mike, you have to leave the space. That's all I said.
See, 'cause I joked with Menno in commentary that that Mike and Bradley were working together at your expense and squeezing you constantly like a sandwich either side of you. Because if you didn't have Bradley right behind you, it might have been a lot easier to overtake Mike Bell, wouldn't it? But also,
let me assure you, it wouldn't have been. He's an absolute wall when it comes to defense. I swear.
he's like 2 cars in one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mike Bell, essentially, how wide he drives.
Yeah. Oh, well.
And final word then, Bradley decided to counterattack on the final lap, slipstreamed you. You were constantly having to go defensive, and that kept compromising your exits, didn't it? Did you ever think, oh, Bradley might have me here? Or was it a case of, nah, this is just race one all over again. Bradley's not coming through. No chance. No matter how many times he tries to turn 10.
Well, yeah, I had a thought that if he might have gone through at the turn 10, I think it was. But on the start of the final lap, I proposed Brad to slow down and wait for Mike for us to have a three-way battle until the finish line. And I said, you know what? Nah. And we just went for it. But yeah.
Wow. It's bizarre because Mike just went really wide on the exit turn 15, I think, on the penultimate lap, and then suddenly caught back up again. I wonder how that happened. But anyway, what a fantastic show. I went absolutely crazy, and I think Menno did as well. So I'm sure he'll agree. A fabulous show you put on for us today. Menno, any questions before we let Alessandro go?
Well, not really. I think he explained everything already, and yeah, we add another few wins to his tally. So yeah.
Yeah, that's win number 6, I believe, Alessandro, if I've been keeping count correctly.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were today. So
need 2 hands now to count it. So well done, Alessandro.
Well, we need more than hands in a few weeks' time, I think, for you, Alessandro. Especially if we count the FS2 win as well. That's 7 this season in GPVWC. But congratulations, I think, once again showing why you are the man to watch here in Academy this season, Alessandro Maggio. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night. Right, shall we drag Bradley in and see what he has to say?
Let's do that.
Right. Hopefully. No, I've just dragged Alex Lahoo by mistake. So hopefully that doesn't register. I'm not sure what he's doing in the interview chat. Right. Okay. Brad. In you come, Brad. All right. 3, 2, 1. There we go. So hopefully once my laggy computer catches up, should be joined. There we go. By Mr. Bradley Sudders, P6, I believe, in race 1, and P2, but so nearly the victory then in race 2. So, Bradley, an eventful day, a very fun day. Talk us through it. So, both dominated by huge fights with Mike, with Alessandro getting involved in race 2 as well. So, it looks like you had a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, it's been some fantastic racing. I can't quite remember what happened in race 1 because so much happened in race 2, but I think I collected someone.
Well, there was a fight with Mike and you won,
yeah.
I think. So P6, I'm pretty sure P6 in the end.
Yeah, with a lap or 2 to go, yeah. And then, race 2 was just insane. We was all in the same voice chat and just basically shouting and screaming at each other. But it was really fun to be a part of.
It felt a little bit like you and Mike were working together to sort of squeeze Alessandro. And at one point, Mike went around the outside and didn't leave a whole lot of space, according to Alessandro, from what we heard. He did the whole Fernando Alonso jokey thing of you have to leave a space, Mike. And he ended up getting put behind you. And then I was thinking from then on, the truce would be off and you'd be attacking Mike and trying to run away before Alessandro caught back up with you. Such was his pace. He dealt with you. Dealt with Mike, then you got through on Mike, and you were able to challenge right at the end. So talk us through that crazy battle at the end, because you were slipstreaming. Alessandro was having to go defensive, and it was compromising his exits. Did you ever think you were going to be able to get far enough along the outside at turn 10? Because that's a difficult move to pull off. You almost did it on like I think 4 or 5 laps from home or something like that, and he just was able to hang it on around the outside and get the inside for turn 12, wasn't he? That was a tense moment.
Yeah, it
Put
was
it lightly.
some quite heavy battling, but while it was just them two fighting, I was just sat there like, I'm going to put my car in whatever gap they leave open and see what happens. So I wasn't really working with Mike because I wanted to get past him too. But
Independent contractor, I see.
yeah, whatever they were leaving open, I was like, I'm going to place my car here and see if I can just get around them if they hit each other or something. But it's nice to have some close racing. It's been
Absolutely
fantastic to be a part of.
Yeah, you put on a fabulous show, Bradley, in both races, to be honest, even though a little bit further back, so we didn't see a whole lot of your battle with Mike, but the bits we did see in race 1 were quite fun. Race 2, you were one of our stars, I think. That's probably one of the best drives I've seen you do in Academy this season, so a well-earned P2, and I think you can enjoy that one. And surely that first win, if maybe Alessandro gets promoted, misses a few races, then surely that first win isn't far away, Bradley.
Yeah, hopefully. It's a long time coming, but I'll get there eventually.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure I'll be there to commentate on it if all the way things are going. So thanks for talking to us, Bradley. Any final thoughts, Menno? He leaves.
Well, yeah, but I wanted to say better luck next time, but it sounds like you did not do well. You did amazing. But yeah, the win is very close. But yeah, I think next round maybe maybe the Nürburgring is your track.
Best of luck for Nürburgring, Bradley.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Right. So next up, then, let's talk to Mike Bell, shall we?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sure always a man with an interesting word and an interesting maneuver on track or two to put on for us. So hopefully I've dragged him in just now. And I think then it'll be Dylan McKenna and Ilko Busink that we have to talk to. So nothing happened, so I'm going to try and drag again and see if that makes an impact. Okay, I've got to wait for the broadcast room to go green. There we go. Mike Bell has joined us then. So,
Hello.
Mike Bell, I believe 7th in race 1 after a fight with Bradley, who we just heard from. And then another fight with Bradley, but this time with Alessandro Maggio involved as well. And you held on to that lead like a cat trying to fight over a mouse or something like that. It felt it was an absolute dogfight out there. And in the end, 3rd place, Bradley just got through as well. But boy, you fought like crazy for that. Before the race, me and Menno had a bet, and he betted on Maggio. I bet on you, Mike. So I guess it's my fault putting the curse on you that you didn't quite get 3 race 2s in a row. But not for want of trying, that's for sure. So 2 very, very interesting races for you, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'll start with the first race. Didn't really have the pace. Made a bit of a risky decision going into qualifying with regards to setup, and obviously with Park Fermé on, it kind of locks you in, doesn't it? And not sure I made the right call, but it didn't really matter too much. I ended up getting actually it was going side by side with Brad, and everything just sort of closed up. I think we were like the middle 2 of like a 4 wide or something. Got a little tap, which I went. Basically, I understeered a little bit into the side of Brad, and because I went over a bump at the same time, just looped it round, so back to like 23rd or whatever it was. I took 6th place on lap 5, which, as far as recovery drives go, is not too bad. And then obviously spent the rest of the race battling with Brad and just keeping it sort of light, and like we were in the same voice chat together and all that. So it's job's a good one. Oh, 1 second. Oh no, I'm good.
No worries.
Sorry, I thought I lost audio for a second there. And we ended up having a good fight, and Brad took it in the end, which was probably the right outcome. He was a fair bit quicker than me today, all day, and so I learned what I did from race 1. I made a couple of setup tweaks for race 2. Don't necessarily think they worked out too well. Didn't really have the straight line speed, and I saw how the grid lined up, and I thought, okay, I passed pretty much everyone in front of me in the first race. So I thought if I can avoid attacks from behind, I could make my way up. And a bit of hustle and bustle in the first couple of corners. I ended up getting shuffled out, so I dropped a few spots. Managed to get back up through and steer clear of some of the accidents. Like I know Tom in front of me was going into that big bank corner at the end. I don't know what turn number it was, and someone was just broadside in front of him. He had nowhere to go, and picked my way through that. Then I don't know who it was, but was leading the race. They just seemed to go off and stick himself in the wall, so I had to.
It was Sibinor. Do you remember Leno Sibinor, who said he was so looking forward to having that fight with you? You did fight with him in race 1. He was in the dark blue car.
Yeah, it was
and he made a very good move on him. I think I remember commentating on it at the time. But then in race 2, he was leading by about 2 seconds end of the first lap, and I wasn't sure what happened to him. But next time we saw him, he lost his front wing.
I think he went over the top of the big bank corner or something like that. Like he ended up in a really odd place.
You nearly did that too later in race 2. To be fair, at turn 15.
No, the other big bank corner, the one first half of the lap.
Oh, turn 9.
Yeah. No, I was going up through and I caught Lewis, but I looked in my mirror when I was side by side with him. And I saw Brad and Maggio, and I was instantly overcome with a load of 4-letter words that I don't think I should say right now. Fear of getting in trouble with Menno and co. And I just thought, well,
it is after the watershed, but we'll probably be on the safe side. So.
But no, I took the lead and I instantly just was I tried to run away, but they both followed me through at the same time. So, I thought, well, I'm not backing myself in this fight, which is unusual because I know if I lose the lead, I'm screwed basically. So I was doing whatever I could. Obviously, this track's very bumpy, and I was trying to use that to some degree to my advantage by like running. Not dead inside, but inside enough that I'll avoid the bumps. And if they got the inside of me, they're in for a rough time and stuff like that. So I was basically trying to use every trick in the book that I know to try and keep hold of the position. But like Alessandro said, we were in the voice chat together, and a few times they were both him and Brad were screaming at me like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, this isn't how I'm supposed to take this corner, is it? I've been doing it wrong all day." So I was, learning bits, and felt like I actually had to run a bit less defensive after a couple of laps. And then just finally it happened. I made a mistake going through the first complex, and just the higher downforce, which you'd think would be better in the corners. If you can't keep the momentum, it doesn't let you build it as much. And Maggio went past, and then Brad just completely just straight lined me, like round through on the next straight, and I just had nothing to do. Like I put too much downforce on quite clearly, and then I was chasing them for a while, and I started to come back into it. I thought I'm coming up to half around seconds the last lap, and I'm thinking I'm actually back in this. Like this could happen, and then I tried to set up for. I saw Brad try to set up for an up and under, so I tried to do the same on Brad. Like almost get back and get 2 of them at once and be an absolute hero, because I thought, hey, if Brad's gonna find a line, I can try and stick my nose in as well and make it difficult into the last couple of corners and hope that something happens, because I know I wasn't winning that race on pace at that point. And I just got a wheel over the edge of the circuit, and it just 50-50 grinded me along the little lip that's on the edge of that camber, and it just dragged me straight off the track. And at that point I was like, oh, okay, let's just try and save it and just pray for something to kick off in front of me. And to be fair, it did a bit. I was too far back at that point, and the streak had to end someday. And as much as this would have been a really cool race to win, like the streak didn't go out with a whimper. It definitely went out with a bang. And hey, it's all a load of fun at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we should rename race 2 as the Mike Bell race, because it always seems to revolve around you in some way, Mike.
I feel like a reverse grid race like that, someone like me, I don't necessarily have the outright pace that some of the other guys do. So I'm not usually in the frame for race 1. Either I don't qualify high enough, or I just simply don't have the pace. So you reverse the grid, and I've been around GPVWC for a long time, and back in 2013, 10 years ago, they were calling me the Bell Train then, and I've got 10 years more experience now. So it's I'd like to think I'm a pretty difficult person to get past, and reverse grid races will let me use that to my advantage if I can just pick off one, or pick my way to the front. And if I get there before any of the super fast boys get me, then build a wall and hope for the best.
Well, sounding vaguely Trumpy in there, Mike, but
Gotta build a wall.
more like Mike Pence than Mike Bell. Anyway, I'm sorry, but thank you very much for talking to us, Mike. Thanks for putting on a fabulous show. I'm sorry because we let the top three talk for so long that we don't really have any time for any of the others. But I know Dylan McKenna, who finished 8th in race 1, and Ilko Busink, who went from 19th in race 1 to 4th in race 2. Brilliant drive there, but we don't really quite have time to talk to them. So congratulations to the both of them on getting their best finishes in Academy. What I believe are their debuts for both of them. We might have seen Dylan McKenna before somewhere, but I can't remember where off the top of my head. But anyway, so Menno, any final thoughts on this very, very intense? It was freeway battles for the lead in both races, but the winner in both was the same. It was Alessandro Maggio. Yeah,
this was a very cool round of racing. I'm very happy we went here to the Dubai Autodrome. So in 2 weeks we will be back for another round of Academy Series at the Nürburgring. And no, it's not the Nordschleife, it's just the Grand Prix circuit, but that's an amazing venue. I think before we fly back, I think I will still will try to climb the Burj Khalifa, or how do you call that? That big tower in
Burj
Dubai.
Khalifa.
Yeah, that one. So to be getting back on the races, I think racing was pretty cool. You saw some people had a bit of issues with the big bumps on the track, but overall I think interesting results. We saw some older drivers, some golden oldies, or how you say that, like Morten Bernesen.
Mike's still here, Menno. You do realize that.
Mike, Tom Parker, Morten Bernesen driving, and then you see the new drivers getting back in fast as well. So it's a good mix of people. We had 26 in race 1 and 24 in race 2, so good grids. So let's see what it all brings in 2 weeks. But I enjoyed today.
Yep, so the Mike Bell race 2 streak is over, but the Maggio winning streak continues and in fact gets even longer than it was previously, of him winning race 2 as well for the first time this season. So can anyone stop Alessandro Maggio? We'll find out in 2 weeks' time at the Nürburgring. But thanks for watching here in Dubai. I've been Edward Hunter. Klont's been alongside me, as of course has Heigo Poom, our broadcast director. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see more GPVWC action later this week. Thanks for watching. FS2 will be tomorrow. Miss it. Goodbye for now.